name is Austin James Steffen. I'm from Cuba City, Wisconsin. It's about 20 minutes from Dubuque, Iowa. It really is a calling, and this is my fifth year of college. It gets confusing, and I'm a senior. It's like the greatest joy in your life at the same time with the greatest suffering. You're really struggling bad, there's somebody there that's going to be able to help you out. It just doesn't make sense without God. It's the fact that we all share the same life, that we all are real with each other, and that was like the moment that I can point to say, I'm going to go to the seminary. The time that I finally said yes, I was actually in Pennsylvania at a Catholic Heart Work Camp, and they have a holy hour every Tuesday night, and just during the holy hour it's like, alright, you've been calling me for many years, I'll just say yes and see where it goes from there. And it's funny because the joy and the peace of that moment was so intense. It's just like, why didn't I do this, you know? Instead of waiting till my freshman year of college, you know, it's just like, why did I wait so long? But definitely been a good experience since then, and that was like the moment that I can point to say, I'm going to go to the seminary. I think it kind of goes by classes, and if you have a lot of classes with some guys, you'll talk to them more. So it kind of, if you had like a group of friends, that would be really close because you all take the same classes, have the same major type of thing. But also the fact that we all live together, and you know, we pray our holy hours together, we pray the breviary together, and then we watch movies together, play sports. So I mean, it is really close, and I think it helps a lot with us being able to establish good boundaries with relationships in the future. Us being able to find that person that you can talk to about spiritual matters, and then talk to about, you know, just like, you just catch the Bears game yesterday or something like that, you know. But, you know, you got to be able to kind of judge a relationship to know how deep of a conversation can get out of it. How can I help the other person by listening? How can I develop my listening skills? How can I develop my sharing skills so that it's not like I'm just whamming them in the face with something? It does mean a lot to us because we always have somebody to talk to that has our back. But next adventure is theology school, which will be wherever the bishop sends me. Studying some theology, maybe some canon law, we'll have to see. That'll be next year. It really is a calling, and you'll notice that there are some guys that you think really have the gifts and the capability to be priests, but they're just not called to it. And then there's some guys who are like, they're never going to be a priest, you know, they're really they're really introverted, they don't like talking to other people, and they make great priests because they're really deep in the spiritual life, and what they do say matters a lot, and they have a lot of insight to bring. So it really comes down to the call from God to really bring forth that vocation. The seminary is great to live in and stuff, but if you're really not discerning priesthood in it, then it's kind of a waste, and you won't feel like it's a home anymore. I always say this about my prayer life, that you can be open and honest about everything with God. You can be mad at Him, angry, upset with Him, happy with Him, everything, as long as you leave friends at the end. So, you know, I think one of the hardships in prayer is that we don't get answers that we want. And so you got to be patient. You got to just wait it out, and it really goes to show that God will give you the grace to get through it. I mean, He'll boost your hope, boost your faith, boost your love to get through the hard times, and He'll give you people in your life to help you with that. And that's where the tight-knit community can really come into play, where you're really struggling bad, there's somebody there that's going to be able to help you out. It's interesting because it's like the greatest joy in your life at the same time with the greatest suffering in your life. And I know we always talk about the fact that there's no grace, no truth through suffering, especially in philosophy. We talk about that a lot. But it's like your life is a living paradox where it just doesn't make sense without God. But there's great joy even though you're giving up all these worldly things. And I don't know, it makes you happy and sad at the same time. It makes life more fun to live. I would say that personally, kind of living it out just by being there for other brothers. I've kind of been looked upon as the philosophical guru, so everybody likes to come and ask me questions if they're struggling in a class or just want to ask a philosophical question. I can at least pose an answer, usually from a couple different schools. And then from that also, you know, just the intellectual life that we really, share here. Talking about bigger concepts, um, deep questions, trying to solve the world's problems. It's the fact that we all share the same life, that we all are real with each other, and we all care deeply about, how's another doing. Don't be afraid of it, and don't try to run away, because you'll try to do that, and he'll just keep calling harder. I can tell you that from experience. It took me like 7 years to finally say yes. Also, just really stay rooted in the prayer life. I mean, really be open and honest with God in your prayer. Whether you feel more drawn to the Father, Jesus, or to the Holy Spirit, just be open with them in prayer so that God can actually work through that. And, the seminary is not, I'm going to be a priest as soon as I join, so there's some time for discernment there. And if you're really thinking about it, just do it. I mean, take that leap of faith and go for it. There's one thing I always say about the seminary, though. It's the best and worst 3 years of my life, because it's the most real 3 years of my life. So, you got struggles in prayer, but you have joys in prayer. You have struggles in academics, but you have joys in academics. You have struggles with your brothers, but you have great joy with your brothers. It's really throwing all of human experience into like one melting pot, and then kind of purifying it, so refining it so that it gets rid of the more difficult parts of your life, the parts that aren't really part of you anymore, and really frees you up to live that perfect spiritual life. And that is a beautiful thing. My name is Austin James Steffen. That was like the moment that I can point to say, I'm going to go to the seminary.
You can smile or do whatever. All right,